Hey, Uncle Owen, how are you doing? Yeah, I know. It's been a long time, man. A long time. Yeah, I didn't use a Ouija board or nothing. No, I just called you direct. How's it going? Yeah. Hey, listen, man. I could really use some advice. It would be nice if there was like actually someone like you to talk to. Yeah, I mean, I've had a hard time finding any primary source material based on what you actually said did. And what I did find, I found some time ago. And I still have the notes, but I don't have like the actual like primary source documents. And it's really kind of bumming me out, you know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, because especially insofar as it was like real and accurate and all, then I could really use your counsel right now. See, it's like one of those things, right? And you already know. It doesn't matter what time frame it is. You know slavery's wrong. Yeah. And you know making any excuse for slavery is wrong. Right? And you also know that like over time, especially over like long periods of time, like hundreds of years, maybe even thousands of years, when you have a history wherein some people in your society actually went through with slavery, including owning slaves, and maybe even having an experience of being slaves themselves within their own community, right? And there's all these justifications, right? Yeah. And then at some point in time later on down the road, like you're no longer in the upper hand. Or you might be in a position where someone's like, hey, look at this, man. We got all these slaves, right? And then you're like, well, I mean, I have a problem with that, or well, I don't know if I can handle all these slaves, or well, I mean, I might want to try something else. And then, there's all these justifications and rationales about why you should accept slaves. Yeah, including as restitution, right? Or some form of reparations because presumably somebody in your background, right, knew slavery. Like actual slavery, like real hardcore slavery, right? And then there's like the mincing. Well, I mean, you were only enslaved for 7 years, and it was different because after 7 years you got out and we had to deal with subsequent generations, right? And it's kind of like, well, what about the people like the rest of us, right? Who had subsequent and several generations of saying, no matter who the fuck you were, no slavery. No. You know that doing this now is going to have consequences down the fucking road. You know, at some point in time, you're going to have to face the consequences. No slavery. I know. Some people had a fancier way to say it. I'm not really good at poetry, though, man. I tried to be. I wrote a poem once. I sent it to some people. Next thing you know, a couple years later, they set up some sort of finance scheme on it, and I'm supposed to be some sort of gladiator baller shit. Yeah, well, the problem is, at the end of the day, the reason they made me a gladiator baller is because they're brokering a bunch of slaves. And even if I could win, why would I want to fucking play for them? Why would I play for anybody that would accept slaves? Yeah, right? So it's like the same shit. It doesn't matter if it's 100 years ago, or if it's 150 years ago, or if it's 1,500 years ago. At every stage, there are people that say, no, this is wrong. And that's the problem. That's what they keep forgetting. They keep choosing somehow that, well, we're going to time spatially locate ourselves in a legacy where at some point in the past, we were wrong. So now we have a justification for doing the same thing that's wrong to some other group of people, including a group of people that we've time spatially located in a manner that makes it justified for us to wrong them in the way we're seeking to get some redress for. And then what happens when you meet somebody that wants to appear as if they're an old timer and they're really not, right? They're just a big fucking kid that never grew up because nobody actually fucking held them accountable. And they want to take you to the fucking casino and say, yo, boy, I'll teach you the game. Let me teach you the game. You might be good at it. Right? So, like, literally what we got is a situation where between 15 and 20 years ago, a bunch of guys that came from specific stock made some deals with some other guys who weren't in public office with them, at least not at the time. And they moved it forward. And I think what happened was it was one of those things where some people found out about certain things. And then maybe you had a mouthy woman, which is the whole thing that everybody tries to sentimentalize about the former so-called First Lady. That the reason people are so loyal to her is because they see her as a victim and somehow she triumphed. And she was willing to let some people in, right? Teach them the game. And then once you play a certain point and you make certain buy-offs and you make certain buy-ins, then you get a little bit more, what do they call it? Negotiating room? What do they call it? I don't know. It's a different term now than it would have been in your day, right? Or is it? I mean, we don't talk about the impeachment of the president. We don't talk about the efforts to impeach the president because of what his son did. We don't talk about that. We're not supposed to know about that. Somehow that's not as much a part of our history as competitive sports gambling, right? And it's like one of these things where it's like, okay, I already said that they're going to make you appear like you thought I was, which was the low hanging fruit. If you could get a piece of this, then you could, through that, get access to a whole bunch of things. And so, time spatially, there's a specific group of people, right? And they were the people that had access to the gaming setup. And some other people were able to be, okay, all right, you know what, we'll let you in, we'll give you something. And then they started gaming on me. And see, the thing is, I got this thing where that other group of people, even if you want to say that I'm among them so you can take it out on me in order to get to them, they never gave me the time of day. And back in the time frame when they would have had the chance, I wouldn't have given it to them either, right? But somebody else did. And they decided that they were going to work me as their deal. And the thing is, even if they came a little bit down the line, and even if there is a certain, I don't know, oppression ratio, or some sort of quantification on a specific kind of spectrum of oppression indexing, and there might be some consideration of them having greater cause or just cause for using me and trying to enslave me and people through and connected to me arbitrarily, by the way. This isn't about our self-determination. That's not what this is about. This is not about us self-determining and then somebody saying, whoa, you can't do that. No, this is about somebody else's arbitrary categorization of me and then ascribing me to certain performance benchmarks, hoping that at a certain point in time, I'm going to collect a bunch of shit and then they're going to fucking pounce me over the head and steal it again. And it's the same fucking shit that's been going on for years. And then after that, well, me and the people connected to me, we're supposed to be their slaves. Remember that whole shit about the Middle Passage? I told him. Yeah, you heard of Roots? You know the Middle Passage? Did you read the book? No, I saw the movie. Right? It makes a big fucking difference. And now that's where we are. And see, the problem is I have a just cause claim. I could have actually gone through with actually prosecuting them for massive, massive crimes, and that's what we need. But a bunch of people decided to sideline me again. And they tried to cut deals with them because they want to get on the inside. So they're doing that thing where she's sitting across the table, and she's like, yeah, we could really use that revolving loan, you know. You know. That thing that members of city council have access to? Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Whoever told you that? Right? The difference between a bribe and a kickback? And because I never took the bribe, I'm nothing more than someone's slave to kick back to someone else for some timeshare. And I'm really getting fucking tired of it. Because it's a big fucking slander over fucking all. It doesn't really matter what color you are. The whole history of the damn country is about people who said, no, you're not allowed to do that, that's wrong. And then somebody else say, well, you don't understand how we do it around here. Yeah, it's our country, asshole. And you did this over and over again. You fail every fucking time, and you expect us to pay for it. I'm not fucking paying for it. And that means I'm not paying for your white privilege tax write-off that you somehow donate through a charitable organization to some people that say they have a just cause claim, but don't want to do it in a manner that actually honors what it is they say backs them up. Because they got their own people that they're enslaving too. They're taking a bunch of other people that otherwise could have been working with me and we could have been self-determining, and they're just labeling them and putting a price point on them and then trying to figure out the appropriate time to post it. I really wish I could talk to someone in my own fucking family instead of a bunch of people projecting onto me what I'm supposed to accept as their interpretation of their justification for why they raped my family. If there was a problem with someone in my family, you should have let me talk to them directly. I would have handled it. If there was a problem with somebody in my community, you should have let me talk to them directly. I would have handled it. This little cattle rustle where you play out that somehow I'm a stage performer, well, it doesn't really work out very well, does it? Because there's nothing to compromise on. There's no concession. Nobody knows who you are, you know that? Nobody knows who you are. All right. Thanks.